Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. We going live now, gentlemen. Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast, where we've been having all kind of technical issues. What's going on? And we got our man in the building, Showboating. Like we said, we were gonna have him come over, man. We were on his show. What was it? The other night we were in the chat, and we got Showboating with us live, man. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Appreciate the invite.
It's not live yet, Greg. It's not showing. It's still saying waiting for Angry Sports.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
No, we live.
I'm up there.
We live.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Oh, because T said it's not live yet. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, Jason confused over here, guys. He's confused. We live, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, man. So over the last week, we all know there's been a few different things that have popped up. We've done a few videos on. And we saw Terrence Crawford. We saw him on the Zone Boxing show. And he's still talking, man. He's still doing a lot of talking. And so, Showboat, and I know you've probably already seen this video and you've already covered it, but I want to give you the opportunity on the platform, man, to speak to it. What do you think about the comments of Terrence Crawford on the Zone Boxing show?
I think it was a man that's trying to figure out how he can put out fires and douse the flames because he knows the shitstorm he done started, and he's pissed off everybody from boxers to fans to sanctioning bodies. So right now, Bud is trying to just do some PR work. You know what I mean? It's a bad look for Bud because Bud doesn't know how to interact with people. His ego supersedes what he says. You know what I mean? And that's Bud's problem because he's always coming from an emotional standpoint. And I think that whole interview right there was just a bunch of contradictions. You know what I mean? He keeps giving you just a little bit that keeps giving more and more questions that need to be answered. At the end of the day, what it comes down to, Bud is a damn dub. That's what it comes down to.
Jay, I'm going to pass it to you, man. We talked about this the other night, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to summarize again. What were your thoughts on it? I'm actually pulling up my notes right now.
That interview was just wild to me. Bud he really just needed to just box, man, right now. Because every time he talks, he's making shit worse for himself right now. He's just trying to spread more lives and just moving shit around. He's contradicting himself almost every time he does an interview. He's contradicting himself in that interview. And it's not a good look. He's not even truly promoting that fight coming up neither. He's doing everything but promoting that fight, not really talking about his opponent. He's talking about Spence. He's talking about the business deal, talking about BLK, talking about everything else but his actually upcoming fight on December 10th.
Yeah, I think it's more damage control, man. And we're going to go into some of these topics because I want to dive back into these topics again. We've covered them in a couple of videos, but I don't think we've had opportunity to cover some of this live with some of the people that, follow the channel. The whole comment, I have my notes here. The first comment about Mikey Garcia and the fact that Errol Spence supposedly was set up by Al Haymon to actually be the person that catapults Errol Spence's career, Mikey Garcia. And I'm like, at the end of the day, when you start thinking about that, right? So Al Haymon, we already know he's very educated. I think he's Harvard educated, if I'm not mistaken. If he had the foresight to understand that Mikey Garcia was going to leave Top Rank after not being promoted correctly, come over to his organization, which is the PBC, fight at a lower weight division than Errol Spence, and then know that Mikey Garcia was actually going to call out Errol Spence in order to make that fight happen to catapult his career, I would say Al Haymon is a damn genius. And not only that, but your promoter's job is to make sure that the fighter is getting as much exposure as possible, making that fighter as big as possible so that you can make as much money as you can and that fighter can make as much money as he can. So he's doing his job. So then what the fuck is the issue if that's the case? Is he mad that Bob Arum didn't do the same thing for him? He had the opportunity to leave Top Rank. He chose not to leave Top Rank. He signed back with him. That's part of the reason why Jason and I got to the point where we were upset with Terrence Crawford, because he signed back to Top Rank. What the fuck point was that? Bob Arum has already showed that he does not have the ability to promote African-American fighters. And he keeps talking about Al Haymon and Al Haymon's this and Al Haymon's that. But I don't hear Al Haymon's fighters talking about him negatively. I hear Bob Arum fighters talking about him. De La Hoya left him. Mayweather left him. Mikey Garcia left him. I've heard people talk negatively about Don King, Eddie Hearns. I have yet to hear somebody talk negative other than AB, but you can't really trust anything AB says. Al Haymon's fighters love Al Haymon. So obviously Al Haymon is doing something wrong, and everybody outside of Al Haymon must be doing something incorrectly. So I'm going to pause there and pass that to you, Showboat. What you think about that, man? How do you feel about the fact that, Al Haymon keeps getting blamed for this, that, and the third, and then also the whole fact that, Mikey Garcia was the springboard for Errol Spence's career, even though I don't necessarily think that was by design.
What I think is that Bud, he understands the sport, but he doesn't understand the sport totally. It's like you were Bob Arum, and everybody warned him about Bob Arum, but he didn't want to. Really, he didn't really take heed, right? And I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, yes, Mikey Garcia came over. Yes, they promoted Mikey Garcia very well. Same way they did Andy Ruiz, same way they did Floyd Mayweather. They did a lot of people that came over, right? And with that being said is Mikey Garcia did have a bigger fan base, right? So Earl chose to fight him. But it was still Mikey's opportunity to beat Spence because it could have went the other way. You see what I'm saying? Yep. It's not like Mikey Garcia came over and took a duck move. He didn't do that, right? It's the same thing. He said, well, they threw him a bone and this. That's what they do. They give you opportunities for you to capitalize. And out of all of that, none of that shit matters. What really matters is, Bud, you had the opportunity to become 2-time 4-belt undisputed champion. First man to do so. You'd have been in Guinness Book of World Records, and you would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. You messed that up, and you decided to say, I'm going to get 25 million. Then it dropped from 25 million down to 10 million, and you're taking that fight, which I don't think he's getting $10 million. I think Bud is just really a jealous person. He's jealous because Spence has a lot more fans, and he see all the things that Spence does. That's where he wants to be. He feels like being a 3-division weight champ, he should be higher than Spence is what he feels. But he's been marketed all wrong. He hadn't done himself any justice because Bud is bad business, Bud, like always.
Big facts. Big facts. I still don't understand why he re-signed with Bob Arum to begin with. That was his ticket to get up out of there and really to make the fights that could be for his legacy. But instead he re-signs and he bitches and cries about it that he couldn't get the big fights. Bob Arum didn't get a return on investment with Bud because he lost money on Bud. Bud doesn't sell. He has excellent skills, but he doesn't sell.
Right.
His resume at 147 is not the same as Spence. So I saw some people talking about like, well, Spence moves up, that's a duck move. What? How? It makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Hey, Wanda saying that Bud tickets are being sold on Groupon.
They are. I saw them.
No, that's got to be a joke.
Yeah.
$89.
No, it's true.
Groupon doing better marketing than Bud is right now.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? When you look on Groupon, they got 2 MMA fighters on there fighting. It ain't even a picture of Bud. But you got to blame Bud.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You got to blame him. He's in charge of his own career. You know what I'm saying?
No,
and you know totally what's funny that I really think about this whole thing is that Bud goes all the way to Dubai to sign with MK Global, correct? Mm-hmm. Then after that, he signs with BLK. He doesn't question any of these dudes from any other places, right? But he questions Al Haymon. Does that make any sense to you?
None whatsoever. I mean, that's a great point. But there's a lot of things, man, that don't really make any sense. What Bud is saying, man. In regards to like, it's been so inconsistent what he's saying when you triangulate what he said yesterday versus today versus 3 years ago versus what he said, maybe 2 weeks ago. It just doesn't all flow. So I want to go here, man. And this is in regards to. He was talking about Al here. The whole comment about battling him within himself. The battle within himself to fight Errol Spence. And he said, when you've put so much into making a fight and you don't get anything out of it, it drains you. It makes you, not want. I don't understand that, guys. What the fight, don't get me wrong, the fight has been kind of in the making since 2017. If I'm not mistaken, when when right after Crawford beat Jeff Horn, he announced that he was going to move up to welterweight. I think that was in 2017. His first fight was in. No, I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. It's God, what's his name, Jason? Idongo?
Who? Oh, Dongo, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was after he beat
Julius.
Yeah, that was 2017 after he beat Idongo.
Julius and Dongo.
Yeah, after he beat him. Then he moved up in 2018 and actually had his first fight with Jeff Horn. So this fight has been in the making for years, but they have not been negotiating for a long time. This fight hasn't been in negotiation for a long time. It's been in negotiation since around May. So if that's the case, what is it that he's really having this internal battle with? Is it the internal battle of actually facing Errol Spence? I'm gonna pass it to you, Jay. What do you think about that, man? Is that the internal battle he's having? What internal battle is he truly having?
Maybe he bipolar. But I mean, cause think about it. Think how many times Bud has said one minute the fight's gonna happen, one minute he doesn't need Spence, one minute he's automatic Hall of Famer. Bud's been all over the place. He has. I mean, if you don't want to be a public speaker or anything like that, that's cool. Have someone help you out with that. But he has too many yes men around him that allow him to do stuff that he really shouldn't be doing. That's hurting his brand. That has damaged his brand. The more he talks, the more interviews he does, the more he goes on this roller coaster. 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that. So I think the internal battle is really how he's going to try to get a guaranteed money without understanding the total business aspect of the money in the back end.
Showboat, what's your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. Man, I think Bud is really just jealous of Spence, man, to be honest, like I said earlier, because he's holding his belt hostage, right? It's like he doesn't want to give Spence this opportunity to try to be undisputed, right? It's like, nanny boo-boo, I got this, and you guys are going to roll out the red carpet. It's more that Bud diva is shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
that's just how I look at it.
No, I totally understand that and can appreciate that. On the DAZN boxing show, he also said that he started talking to BLK back in June, July. And he started negotiating with Errol Spence back in June, July. He did not initially tell BLK that he was negotiating the fight against Errol Spence, although it was in the general public, so they should have known. But he didn't tell him. But certainly he didn't tell Errol Spence's camp that he was already talking to another entity. Now, this is the same man that is screaming that he needs clarity, that he wants clarity.
Transparency.
That the issue is the transparency. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be two-part. How is it that you can ask for transparency when you are, in fact, not being transparent yourself? That's number one. Number two, Errol Spence asked you to post the last sheet that you had or your last contract, draft sheet, and he hasn't done anything in regards to that. Why? I mean, he went on there to make a whole video, hostage video, as someone called it in the chat. Why is he not being transparent with these other individuals? Yet he's asking for transparency.
Standard shady business move. I mean, he's been with Bob Arum for all these years. He had guaranteed money, over that on deals that he shouldn't have really been getting that amount of money for. Bob Arum really messed everything else by doing what he did with Bud for fear of losing Bud, because Bud is a hell of a talent. We all know that. We've never said he wasn't. But how can you want transparency elsewhere, but not going to provide transparency? That just means you're being shady. You're being shady as hell. You can't say, I want transparency, but I'm not going to show you anything. And then to your second part, that would expose him completely as a lie if he showed that draft. I'm quite sure that contract, if he showed that part there, that would blow up everything Bud has been trying to go on for the longest.
Hey, I want to read. Appreciate the love, Adrian. Has anyone seen the undercard? It's looking like, unfortunately, I won't be watching. I don't like paying for sparring events. I'll be watching T.O. Has anyone talked about the undercard? I know you guys mentioned something about an MMA fighter that's on the undercard. Is that factual?
No, that was on the cover of the Groupon picture.
What?
Yeah, that's on the cover. Yeah, that's on the cover.
That's on cover. Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to the Groupon, you have two MMA fighters talking about an $89 ticket through Groupon, and I think they said they got it for 40% off too. Is it 40% off? Is what's on that Groupon?
Let me take a look at it. Yeah, they're actually throwing a kick. They got two white dudes. One dude's holding his leg. Other dude's trying to throw a punch at him. Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. So I mean, Come on,
It's
man.
sad.
That just really that's just bad news for boxing, man. It's hurting boxing in that sense there. I mean, and it's robbing us. I mean, it's robbing us of the fight that we want to see. You know, we want to see a legacy fight, which would be Spence and Bud. They really need that for their
Mm-hmm.
legacy. I mean, you have a chance to be undisputed against the number one and number two at 147, and
Mm-hmm.
you pull this shit. If you wanted a tune-up fight, by all means. I'm not saying you should have been sitting on the shelf this long, but go ahead and put it in a contract. You know,
Exactly.
it's
Put the
not.
shit
It's
in the
been done
contract.
before. It's been done before. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this tune-up fight here in November. Then we come back around in January, February, whatever, and fight for it. Cool.
Right. Tyson Fury did
Yeah.
that. Tyson Fury did that with Deontay Wilder. He decided to go take one, and I almost got beat on that one. But
Yeah.
you know,
It's
I
been so
mean,
yeah, exactly. There's been so many fights in the history of the sport that's been done that way. There's actually been situations where you've had fighters fight on the same card to help build up the fight, knowing that both fighters had to win those particular fights in order to make that next fight, right? Zab Judah and Floyd Mayweather, that fight was already signed prior to his fight with what was it, Baltimore?
yeah, Baltimore.
Yeah. So this
Zab
is
messed that up.
yeah, exactly. This is occurred. This is we've seen this in the history of the sport. So the fact that he didn't figure out a way to actually sign that contract while still getting that $10 million, supposedly getting $10 million, how is it that he's a great businessman? That's the part that really confuses me when people make those comments.
Yeah. It makes no sense. Go ahead, Showboat.
but no, go ahead. I don't
Now,
mean
I
to
was
cut
gonna
you off.
say,
Go ahead.
someone in the chat said that was Spence said he wasn't gonna fight Thurman. I'm like, well, it hasn't been said anything about if Spence was fighting Thurman, and also Thurman is a Mando. So if Spence doesn't fight Thurman, he's gonna have to vacate that, be stripped of that belt. Then he can't be undisputed. So he will have to fight Thurman. So it's not like Spence saying I'm gonna fight Thurman because he wants to. It's because he has to. If that fight happens, but Spence hasn't announced who he's fighting for his next fight.
Right. I want to say this. I want to say, a lot of people are taking this boxing stuff, and what they're doing is they're making this making it more chaotic than what it is. Everybody's chirping and putting it in. But I like to say, I'm not against Bud. Actually, Bud was my number one pound for pound guy, right? And so I'm not here to dog Bud. I'm here to take up for what the sport is, what it's about, right? Nobody's above. We holding to accountability. Nobody's above it. Not Spence, not nobody else, right? Spence, I have said before, I put it on record. Everything I say, I stand on it, And I just say that everybody should stand on what they say, right? And I'm saying that they're saying that Bud is a good businessman, and if you say it against that, you hating. That's not necessarily true. See, Bud knows that Bob Arum gave him money up front, which it sounds good, the guaranteed money, but when you really look at it, you make more money off the back end. It's the residual income, it's the things that come off the back end that you make more money on, right? That's common sense. You have somebody like Al Haymon who came over from dealing with a lot of singers from Michael Jackson, Drake, and you hear Drake on his song brag about it. Oh, I'm getting that Al Haymon money because Al Haymon money has always been good, right? But what they put out to the public, like Eddie Hearn did in that match between Deontay Wilder and AJ, they were asking for $50 million to fight. Al Haymon then put it up, and what they do, they question his accountability and saying, hey, show us that you have $50 million. When it's coming from Floyd and Al, they got the money, right? It's just more smoke and mirrors. So when Bud and them talk to people, he's talking to the casuals. He's not talking to the boxing fans. It's the people that don't know about boxing that buys into Bud's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we all see through Bud's bullshit because we know exactly what it is. What it is Bud is mad because Spence is over there. Spence is doing very well. He's got to go over to Spence's territory, which that doesn't even matter. Most guys have done that, right? Bud wants these people to roll out the red carpet. That's why you remember on I think it was Ellie Setback, it was Spence and Bud arguing, we're just messing with each other by the ring. And he goes, yeah, he's too light in the ass. And then Bud goes, yeah, they didn't say that Floyd Mayweather. He said, well, you Floyd Mayweather, right? Yeah. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
In Bud's head, Bud acts like he's Floyd Mayweather. He acts like he's the guy. You know what I mean? And we're like, Bud, we do believe you could be the guy, but you have to prove it. Gamboa's not going to do it. Benavidez with one leg is not going to do it. Sean Porter laying down is not going to do it. The person that's going to do it for you is Spence. But you chose to go do something different. You chose David Avanesian, which makes you look weak.
It does.
Yeah. I'm looking at Rockman Sahuladin. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, but he's saying Spence did not make more money. I think he's saying than Crawford though. Crawford got guaranteed and back in. If so, where's the proof? So number one, Rockman, Terrence Crawford did get guaranteed, but he certainly didn't get back in because there was no fucking back end to get.
He lost money. They lost money.
They lost money. The promoter got to get his money. So there was no back end to get. He just got upfront guaranteed money. And he's aware of that. Like let's understand something, man. This is the same man that went to Top Rank, then left him, then sued him, and then dropped his lawsuit. Like how smart could this particular man be, man?
Right. I think they probably paid him under the table. What do you think about that?
Paid who? Bud?
I think they paid Crawford under the table. Yeah.
Like back end money?
You don't think so?
Nah. I think
no. When Crawford is suing him, correct?
Yeah.
Because
in
the
you're
contract,
saying
that they were going to pay him a certain X amount of dollars for that.
Yeah, you saying you think they
settled with him out because now that it's dropped out, you don't hear nobody talking about it, right? To me, that seems like a payoff.
It was something about the fact that where the lawsuit was taking place. The lawsuit was taking place in Nevada, if I'm not mistaken.
Las
Vegas. So I think
Las Vegas.
Aaron wanted to be there or New York, which he would have a better like jurisdiction or something like that to make it better for him than for Bud. And when they went like it did, Bud was just like, oh, he's pretty much screwed in a sense, But it makes no sense what Bud's been doing. I mean, like I said earlier, Bud's just like a walking contradiction. Every time he does an interview, he contradicts everything. He said, I'm going right, then I'm going left. He goes back and forth. So I mean, I'm like, dude, just do what you do best, and that's box. Get someone to be a publicist for you to help you out or something, because you're killing yourself, man. You've almost destroyed your whole legacy in a sense right now with this fight here. This fight doesn't take place, it's going to hurt him more than it's going to hurt Spence, I believe. For one, Bud is 35. He'll be 36 next year. If he moves up to 154 and tries to go against Mel, I don't think that's going to be good for him, for one.
But he's not going to be able to fight Mel because Mel is still with PBC and they're not going to allow that to happen.
So, I mean, so he's between a rock and a hard place right now, right? And also, it's like, okay, he signed one deal with BLK Prime. After this fight here in December, what does he do? Does he re-sign with them? Are they going to have more money? I mean, they're paying AB over 8 figures for 3 fights in 1 year, which AB hasn't fought 3 fights in 1 year since 2015. I mean, that's fool's money. I mean, if I'm AB, I'm taking that guaranteed money now. Don't get me wrong. I'm taking that money if it's there,
Yeah.
I mean, money like that, you got to vet it. So I'm not mad at Spence wanting to vet it early on. So, I mean, especially when you got something that's established with Al Haymon and PBC and whatnot, then you just have this fly-by-night company come out of nowhere. It gives me very feelings of Trilla.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm just typing here in the chat, man. I'm seeing some of these comments come in. I think I'm just going to respond to Rockman. He said, dude was saying you make more money off the back end than the guarantee. In Crawford's case, it made sense for him to focus on the guarantee due to his poor sales. Yeah, I mean, we understand that. We all understand that. We understand that he doesn't sell, and that's the reason why he focuses on the front end. He wants to pass the risk associated with the fight on to the promoter, just like he did to Bob Arum. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. And Rockman and Brenda, everybody that's in the chat that supports Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is going to Al Haymon, and he's saying, Al Haymon, I want a guarantee. In the same breath, he is also saying that I'm a boss and that he's the one at the table and Errol Spence is not. The promoters are the ones that give you the guarantee. So Terrence Crawford Promotions is the one that should be guaranteeing Terrence Crawford because remember, he's a boss, right?
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
One thing. No, you're right. But they got to understand the roles because Al Haymon is an advisor. He just helps structure your deal. I
agree.
Yeah.
No, totally agree with that. All I'm saying is that at the end of the day, and that you're actually making the point even more. You're solidifying the point. Al is really not the promoter, so he really shouldn't be guaranteeing anything. He's the advisor. He's the manager. So in reality, Al Haymon, he works with different promoters. In this case, he probably should be working with, Errol Spence promotion, Man Down promotion, whatever it's called, and then Terrence Crawford promotion. So if Terrence Crawford wants to guarantee, Terrence Crawford should be guaranteeing his own guarantee. Because he is the promoter. He's the promoter. So he keeps talking all this boss shit, but he talks and thinks like a worker.
That's because that's all he's been.
Exactly. So this is what it comes down to. Al Haymon is like in the record industry. He's giving you your own record label to where you the man and he's cutting out the middleman. Bob Arum is a promoter. So if you got Terrence Bud Crawford Promotions, he's putting you on the same level as Al Haymon. You just got to go, not Al Haymon, as Bob Arum, yep. Right? So he's giving you that leeway. And to go back to the guy who said something in the chat about the back end, this is what I'm saying about Bob Arum. Bob Arum gave Terrence Crawford money, guaranteed. He says he's taking a loss, right? If he really 100%, I say he's not making as much money as he would like, but he made a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? He knew that the little money he threw Terrence Crawford, he knew he'd make a little bit through the ESPN deals and all that. He satisfies those deals, right? So he's making a little bit off Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford's not seeing the whole big picture. You know what I'm saying? If a man says, okay, I'm going to pay you, any of us, $5 million. Remember Master P said that. They offered me $1 million. Well, then what are they making? What's going on behind the books? But you're not asking for Bob Arum to open those books up. You're just so thinking simple-minded of, oh, I'm getting $5 million. Bob Arum is saying he's taking a loss, same way Trump says he take a loss, way every company says they take a loss, correct? They do that through write-offs. But if he really took a loss, Terrence Crawford would have been at McDonald's. You see what I'm saying? But there's some other money that's not coming up that Terrence Crawford's not even asking about.
Yeah,
why would Bob Arum re-sign him again? Does that make any sense? Why would Bob Arum re-sign him again if Terrence Crawford is really that,
I think Bob might have thought, here's my theory on that, Showboat, and I'm not, because it really doesn't make sense why he signed him again. My belief is Bob Arum thought that he was going to manage this similar to how he managed Floyd versus Pacquiao, right? And basically build up this fight through these back and forth, basically what we're currently seeing here with on Twitter, where they're going back and forth. I think he thought he was going to be able to build up this fight and then eventually make it on the back end with the Errol Spence fight. And I think they might have miscalculated in terms of Bud's ability to sell. I think they might have believed their own hype and thought they were going to be able to at least break even with Bud until they got to the point where they had the Errol Spence fight, and then they would make the money off the contract, that particular fight. And I don't think that ever materialized because Bud is just simply not a sell. So he's not going to sell. He's never going to sell. He understands that he's not going to sell. Even in the live stream, he's like, bro, I was like, bro, people not really even buying pay-per-views like that, bro. We got to get that front end. Motherfucker, you ain't never sold no pay-per-views, period. I don't give a fuck who's streaming what. You don't sell shit. So that's just what it is.
Bud sold fire sticks.
Yeah. You don't sell
he made
shit.
The stock for fire sticks, right?
Exactly. So that's just what it is,
yeah,
man.
I agree with you on that, man.
And this ain't Bud hate directly towards him as a fighter. This is about his business dealings. And it's robbing us out of the fight we all want to see. We all want to see Bud and Spence fight. That's point blank period. That's what we want to see. And this is frustrating to see how this dude is maneuvering one transparency from others, but not providing transparency himself.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, man. So let's talk about this, man. Are we the issue, guys? Showboat, Jason, I'm going to ask myself this question. Are we the issue? Are we the reason why boxing is dying? Because according to Mr. Terrence Crawford, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that the best fighters are not fighting the best fighters. It doesn't have anything to do with fighters being unwilling to promote themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with a history over the last 5 years or so of fighters being overpaid and trying to protect their zero. Like Floyd Mayweather. Unlike Floyd Mayweather, Mayweather was actually fighting the best available competition at the time, coming off of their best wins. These guys are just literally just trying to protect their O. They're trying to follow a Mayweather model, but not necessarily doing exactly what Mayweather did. So the sport has been dying, honestly, since the 1990s. So my question is it our fault? Or is it these other issues that have been going on that's really been plaguing the sport, similar to what we're seeing currently? I'm going to pass it to you real quick, Showboat. What are your thoughts on that?
And my thoughts is it's the YouTubers, it's all of us that's keeping the sports alive. Where can you go tune in and get boxing on a daily basis that's not biased? You know what I mean? Well, you're going to get biased channels. You do get that, right? But you can thumb through it and see different looks and see what's going on. ESPN is not covering boxing the way the YouTube crowd is, right? And plus, we're giving them free promotions. You know, whether it's bad publicity or good publicity, correct?
Exactly.
And you do have channels out there that are just fanboys. They're fanboys, right? And Bud is steady trying to deflect. He's trying to deflect. He's trying to take the heat off of his ass. Because at the end of the day, I Showboating Sports right now. If I said, okay, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to fight Deontay Wilder. Let's say I fight Deontay Wilder and somehow knocked him out. Guess what? You guys are going to watch me on pay-per-view go fight Usyk next, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say, well, damn, where the hell this dude come from, right? It's about what you do in the ring. And Bud is fighting David Avanesian. You keep fighting all these people that we don't want to see. So I tweeted Bud and I said, hey, man, he said that people were hating. I said, Bud, I will pay if you fight Spence, Thurman, Boots, or Ortiz. I will pay $79. But my $39 for the David Avanesian fight, I'd rather throw it up in a strip club. That's what I tweeted. So I figured he might want to fight me after that. You know, he likes fighting YouTubers and fans and shit. So
you might have a chance of getting that fight.
Maybe I can go get a belt.
You might get the fight before Spence do,
yeah.
Showboat.
Exactly. Hey, and what I'll do is I'll promote the damn fight, and right before I'll play like I'm hurt, let Spence step in.
Hey, let me ask for the people that are currently in the chat, if you could please hit that like button, or if you don't like it, you can hit the do not like button. But be active, is help people find the content that we currently have and the content that we're currently streaming. So please hit the like button or the dislike button if that's what you feel.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as far as YouTubers, like you said, I agree 100% with your, Showboat. And I mean, we're the ones that's bringing it to the forefront more so than ESPN, anything like that. I mean, you can tell how bad ESPN just by looking at their pound for pound list. That list was straight up trash, hot garbage. You know, we've always been on here trying to talk as much truth as possible and take the emotion out and take the opinion out. We just want facts. Fact is, we want to fight with Spence and Bud. Point blank, period. Fact is, we've always said those are the top two welterweights in the division, as well as pound for pound. We've always said that. So
let me say this, man. I'm gonna pass it back to you after this, Jason. But you know, boxing fans, to the point that you made, YouTube has been really helping to drive the sport. Boxing is a niche sport right now, so a lot of people are not following like that. It's not a main sport. It's not being covered by the Fox and the ESPN. So at the end of the day, if we want these fights to be made, it's obvious that Terrence Crawford looks at YouTube because he's making comments about YouTube. So you know what time it is? It's time to apply pressure to this nigga. Apply pressure. If you saw the video that we posted the other day about him blaming YouTubers, I put it on our Twitter. If you're on Twitter, go find AM Sports Media, man, and retweet it. Retweet it and at him. Put pressure on this dude because this dude is feeling the pressure. He's feeling that pressure. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be going on constantly talking and saying this and that and the third. Apply that pressure because we want to see the fight. And at the end of the day, it's not YouTubers that are affecting boxing. It's fighters like him that are only interested in lining his pockets versus fighting the best competition available at the time. Those are my thoughts on that. I'm going to pass it back to you, Jay.
Nah, you're right. I mean, it's easy. I mean, Bud's the only one that's come out on Twitter or anything like that I've seen to blame YouTubers for the state of boxing. You know, which is some bullshit. I'm like, dude, look in the mirror. You point a finger at us, but you got 3 more fingers pointing right back at you. So look in the mirror. Own up to take accountability for your actions or lack of actions, transparency or lack of transparency. Make the fights that the fans want to see. We don't want to see you fighting David Amnesia. We want to see you fighting Spence. We want to see you fighting Ortiz. We want to see you fighting Boots, you know, or Stanionis. Someone with a pulse. Someone that we feel that it's going to be a good fight. Someone that didn't get knocked out by Mean Machine, that you beat, and Mean Machine dropped you. So, I mean, no one cares about this fight on December 10th, honestly. And for $40, we don't know the undercard. I haven't seen anything on the undercard at all, you know. So, no, I'm not. Do I want to do well? Sure. You know, because it's another player in the game. But don't blame YouTubers for this. We're the ones that actually coming out there
Mhm.
wanting to see the big fights. We're the one putting the hypotheticals. What if Bud fights Thurman? What if the dream fights? They're trying to put it in if you wish and put it out there. We're not the ones saying like, no one watch boxing. We never said don't pay for it. We never said any of that. We just saying for us, I'm not going to pay for it in a sense. If you want to pay for it, go right ahead. But I'm not paying to watch a sparring match against David and Alicia. That's just not happening. I'd rather watch a T.O. fight. I'd rather watch the Heisman presentation fight, trophy.
This is one thing that I want to also address as far as YouTubers are concerned, right? And I want to state this for anybody that's listening. I am an Errol Spence fan. I'm a boxing fan, but I'm an Errol Spence fan as well. I don't pretend that there's no bias in anything that we do, right? Because at the end of the day, there's bias in everything that everybody does. Everybody in the chat has a bias. Everybody that's on ESPN, Fox, everybody has a bias. What I try to do, what Jason tried to do, Showboat, what I've seen you try to do is take the feelings out of it as much as possible and bring the facts to the people. And what we speak on here is facts. This is what we're seeing. Now, some of this is triangulation of information, right? We're looking at it. We're unable to connect the dots. They don't make sense. So, and that's just what it is. But a lot of this, I see people coming in the comment section complaining about stuff that we're saying that was literally quotes from Terrence Crawford.
From him.
This is his quote. This was his quote yesterday. This is his quote today. I'm comparing the two and they don't align. How is that my fault?
Blame your boy.
Blame your boy. I'm not tracking with that at all. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, is Terrence Crawford ever going to show that contract, man? I've been waiting for it for a long time. 1 minute he talking about Errol Spence. The next minute when he gets asked a hard question, it's like, my focus is David Avanesian. That's all, man. He's a tough opponent. It's going to be a tough fight. My focus is David Avanesian. Then when it's not a tough question, it's Al Haymon ain't shit. Errol Spence ain't shit. They're doing this. They're doing that. I want it to be fair. Then when they ask him a tough question, man, my focus is David Avanesian. Is he ever going to show the damn draft sheet?
Yeah.
Is he going to say who the hedge funds are? I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
I'm not going to.
It's always, but you want transparency, though.
He wants transparency, though. Al Haymon supposedly know the hedge fund owner.
Yeah, they know you.
They know Al Haymon, but they came to the B side.
Yeah.
And Spence didn't ask who they were. Spence just said,
Yeah.
Come on, man. Dude, stop it.
Yeah, for Bud to say he's a boss and you choose this shit, a number 6 rank opponent that nobody really knows of, cares about, and you trying to convince us how good of a hard guy he is. At the end of the day, Bud, this is like I always say and we say on my channel all the time. Bud, you gonna stand on that shit, bro. You said you want to fight this man is good, so be it bad or be it good. You're gonna take everything that comes with this bullshit ass fight that's not gonna do well. And my thing is this: I don't wish nothing bad on BOK, but I don't give a damn about pushing this fight, letting this fight be successful. Because if he fights this tomato can and makes some money, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna line up some more damn tomato cans.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what.
And I'm not going for that.
That's what kills us, though. Because if he fights a tomato can and he wins, what else do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna go? Right. That's why I say this fight is dead. You really think he's gonna go and fight Errol Spence after he fought a tomato can for $10 million? He gonna go try to find another tomato can to fight for another $10 million.
Why would he do that?
I mean, that's just common sense, man. And we've already heard him on his live stream talking about, we got to get this guaranteed money because people ain't really buying pay-per-views no more. They buying Canelos. They buying enough of Canelos.
Right.
So you just don't really sell.
Right.
You don't really sell, and that's okay. Right. They're buying enough of Errol Spence's. You just don't really sell for the guarantee that you asking. You don't sell. So at the end of the day, man, he needs to. I don't know, man. I just can't see this dude actually the ghost, and he's probably going. Sorry, Showboat. Go ahead. I'll make the point after. No, I was gonna say he's probably getting.
What you gonna say?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish.
Oh, no. All I was gonna say is that he's probably gonna end up getting blacklisted because we've already seen that Eddie Hearns don't want to do business with him. So he sued Bob Arum. He just went and talked shit about the PBC. Why the fuck would anybody do any business with Terrence Crawford? And then his fans are gonna go out there and say, but they all ducking Bud. They won't fight Bud. Why won't they fight Bud? Because he's a terrible businessman. He's hard to deal with. He's like a little diva bitch. So no, you're not gonna want to deal with him.
Yeah. He's trying to bring ghetto rules up into a business house, and you can't bring those kind of rules in. You know what I mean? He feel like, oh man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. No, Bud, we don't have to dance around to your music. You know what I'm saying? Bud marketability sucks. He doesn't do anything to help his marketability. He doesn't do interviews. He hasn't done them in a while. When have you ever seen Bud do an interview? He doesn't do them. Then when you see that this fight comes up, now he's at the Hall of Fame and all this. Now he's doing interviews back to back. He's smiling. He's doing all this other shit. You riding off the coattails of Spence needing to fight you for that belt that you hold. Other than that, man, you're not really relevant. You're a great fighter, right? You really are. He has all the skills. I'm not talking about that. Bud is a really good fighter. But with all that being said, the same way Jaron Ennis, the same way Shakur Stevenson, everybody's got to prove their greatness. Canelo, Bud does too as well. And Bud, his claim to fame is beating a Sean Porter who laid down. He beat Kell Brooks, who had two orbital bones broke. He beat Benavidez, like I said, one leg, Gamboa. That's really his best win, was Gamboa, because Gamboa, he's the one helped make Gamboa a gatekeeper. But anything other than that, man, Bud has hurt himself tremendously. He has 2 more years before his decline really starts going down the ring, period. It's like this. If he had fought Spence, went up and fought Jermell Charlo, right? Whether he won or lost with Jermell Charlo, I would buy just about every fight after that. I support Bud on everything because he dares to be great. But you let Devin Haney, a little young kid, throw caution to the wind, go all the way over and take a bullshit contract, fight, go back and fight again, then go get in the ring and call out Loma. You know what I'm saying? You got Clarissa Shields that did it. But Bud is supposed to be the #1 top dog, pound for pound guy in all of boxing. And you can't do that shit? Nah, bro. You got to stand on this bullshit that you made. And the things that you want to do is going to affect you now. It's going to affect you later. You done burnt all these damn bridges, and you think it's funny, but it's not funny because all this shit that you did is going to come back and bite you in the ass. It's going to bite Bernie in the ass because Bernie's not going to have a way to go. Bo Mack is doing the right thing by shutting the hell up and doing this fighter, and he's not getting in this damn monkey circus with Bud and them. That's why Bo Mack is quiet. He's smart enough to shut the fuck up, and that's what Bud needs to do. He needs to let somebody talk for him and come out and do the right fucking thing and give us the fights that we want. And if you don't give us the fight that you want, then guess what? I'm not paying for none of that shit. None of it at all. So the hell with Bud. That's how I look at it. You don't give a damn about us. We don't give a damn about you. Period.
I feel that.
And I'm going to stand on mine, and you going to stand on yours. That's where we at on this thing. We're going to stand on our fucking square, and when you fucking retire, guess what you going to do? I don't have to hear from your ass no more, and I'm okay with that. Because guess what? We all going to be here. Bud ain't. He's got 2 years and ticking. Now, do he want his fighters to be here? Because you done burnt a lot of fucking bridges. So now, when you retire, you less marketable. You don't have no more power. Where's your fighters going to go? Nowhere. Because ain't nobody going to deal with you. Because you don't know how to damn do business.
Totally agree with what you're saying. I want to go to the chat real quick.
One thing I want to add on real
fast. Hold on, let's take. No, you good. Let's take something in the group in the chat though, because we had HLD that just dropped $5 on us. Much love, HLD. I appreciate that. Let's read his comment very quickly. Crawford, who's considered the #1 fighter in the world, will be showcasing his skills in front of maybe 25,000 pay-per-views versus who? How is that beneficial to the sport? Totally agree with that right there, man. It's not beneficial to the sport at all. And it's only beneficial to his pockets. And we've said that in the past. That's what Bud is most concerned about. His fans don't really understand that really what he's most concerned about is lacing his pocket. Now, I don't begrudge any fighter that wants to lace their pocket because we don't get punched in the face. But at the end of the day, man, also you need to contribute to the sport because that's the sport you in. You need to leave it better for the next generation. And then the other thing I want to read is Adrian Molina, man. He just dropped some dollars on her too. Much appreciated, Adrian. Only YouTuber messing boxing up is Jake Paul and Mayweather with those nut ass circus fights. I wanted to say those. So go ahead, Jay.
Agreed. Now tell me this. Riddle me this, Batman. What happens with the negotiations after this fight? Bud fights December, Spence fights whenever, whether it's January, February, and let's say Bud and Spence go back to the negotiation table. How does this help or make Bud have a better leg up on Spence in negotiation after this fight here? Or does it?
It
I
doesn't.
say it doesn't.
I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna. Go ahead.
Especially if Spence fights someone like Boots, Stanionis, or Thurman, and washes their ass and sells more tickets. How does he not get a bigger piece of the pie than Bud? So this is not helping Bud out at all because he didn't do this in good faith. All that bullshit ass fake transparency didn't help out anything. So I just think this is just gonna make that fight negotiation be even worse for Bud with him fighting David Amnesia.
Yep. Totally agree. Let's go back to the chat, man. We got John Boo. Jake Paul is not taking money out of Showtime's budget for boxing. He actually makes money for them. Listen, people want to blame Jake Paul, and I understand that. But in reality, Jake Paul is generating more money than anybody else in the sport currently. Boxers, in my opinion, needs to take a page out of Jake Paul's playbook, which is you got to do the marketing also. It's not enough to be the best in anything that's related to entertainment. It's about how many eyeballs you bring to the sport. Mike Tyson was not the best heavyweight probably after he came out of jail. Definitely wasn't the best heavyweight when he came out of jail. Who would you want to see? Tyson, Evander Holyfield, or Lennox Lewis, or Riddick Bowe? You wanted to see Mike. You don't give a fuck how many fights Mike lost. You want to see Mike. Mike brought eyeballs to the sport because he understood the marketing. His lifestyle was very interesting. People want to understand more about a particular fighter, right? And so they need to take a page out of Jake Paul's book, get on their marketing shit. If they want to make more money, instead of crying about Jake Paul, follow what it is that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. Is there anything in the chat that we should address?
Yeah, Isaac Green. Yeah, Mayweather laid the foundation work for a pay-per-view.
I just saw that.
All you have to do is follow the playbook. That's facts, but you also gotta have put in that work like Mayweather did. Mayweather put in the work as Pretty Boy to become Money May.
I agree with that.
Exactly. And everybody's blaming Jake Paul then, but you can't blame these guys over here because if boxing was up on their game and doing what they're supposed to be doing, it wouldn't be a Jake Paul. You wouldn't care to watch these guys. Yep. But Jake Paul put on a competitive fight with Anderson Silva, and I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't the best fight in the world, but it was two guys in there slugging it out, and they brought the noise. It's going to be a lot better than this David Avanesian fight because Crawford, I mean, it's not a match. You know what I'm saying? It's a mismatch. Exactly. And I hope Crawford pulls it off without a flaw, doesn't get injured. Hope he wins. I hope Spence does the same thing as well because either one of these guys can have a mishap, and then guess what? Mess up the whole most important career fight ever that they have. This is their defining moment between Crawford and Spence.
It is, man. It is, and it's not going in the right direction either. And this is a legacy fight for these two fighters, and I think neither if they don't fight, it's gonna damage their legacy.
Yeah, it's gonna damage both of them.
Yeah, and they should be fighting now. While both of them are still relatively in their prime. I don't think Crawford is necessarily in his prime anymore. And I heard you, Showboat. You say you think he can fight 2 more years. I think he can fight 2 more years, but he won't be at his prime. I don't think he's at his prime now because those legs, they're not where they used to be.
I think right now because he takes. Well, I think right now where he is at 35 and how hard he trains, he stays in shape. He hasn't taken a lot of damage, and he eats right. I mean, he takes care of himself, right? So at 35, he's not really on the decline. It's really when you start getting about 36, 37 is when your body and stuff, then you start having those problems like Kobe had. Kobe started having them towards the end too, where he started having those Achilles tears and stuff like that. All that stuff starts kicking in late 30s. You know what I mean? So I think right now, Bud has still got about another year, 15 months, 16 months to do it, So I wouldn't, and the reason why I say that is because I think that if they both fight, I don't want to see any fighter not get their full credit. As like Spence is totally healed. He's totally healed from the wreck. He's totally healed from the eye injury. And I think Bud is right where he needs to be, because I don't see Bud do anything more amazing or less amazing than what he did 4 or 5 years ago. I don't see where it looks like he's even losing the beat with the Sean Porter, because when they told that dude that you're behind, he stood up went in there and handled his business, and them punches he land was good punches. It stopped him. You know what I mean? It made what's them throw in the towel. So it still let me know he's really effective, you know? So that's why I say he's probably got another 2 years to be effective.
I hear totally what you're saying. I think and I don't disagree with being effective, but I don't see the same Crawford from 5 years ago. I think, and I don't see the same Spence from 5 years ago either.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't see either one of them being the same fighter. Crawford doesn't have the same lateral movement that he had years ago. He used to have that lateral movement. I don't see it anymore. Spence, I think Spence, he still somewhat looks like what he used to, but you know, at the end of the day, man, even Spence himself has admitted that car crash took a little bit out of him, right? And that's to be expected. So these two fighters, though, are still at a really, really, really elite level. I just don't think they are where they were at 2017.
You think they fell a little bit? I think with Crawford, I think it's the competition. I think Crawford is so good now that he's being more and more seasoned. He doesn't have to do some of the things he had to do back in the day. You know what I mean? Because I think at 147, it fixed some of the things that was wrong with Crawford as far as power. I think 147 gave Crawford a power boost because now Crawford is really hitting devastatingly hard. You know, I didn't see that kind of power at 135. I really didn't. Now he's really, and I think he's relying on some of that stuff. And he's taking some of these shots that he doesn't really have to take, but he's doing it because he knows my punch is going to take you out of there. Because Crawford hits you from angles that you didn't see coming. And so I think that's what he's doing. He's standing in there in that pocket a little too long. He's trading, making them open up a little bit so he can land those punches, and he's getting them out.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I see from Crawford.
I mean, that's true, but look at the level of competition he's also fought like that too. You know, he hasn't hit anyone with heavy hands. You know,
nope. He ain't really fought nobody with heavy hands.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll stand in the pocket with you too. You know, if I know I can, I can take it. You got no
and
crack.
Porter didn't give it to him.
Oh nah.
Porter didn't give it to him like he's supposed to either. So we'll see when they really get another good fight against somebody real.
So I'll comment on that, but I wanna go to the chat real quick. C. Dewberry, I think Bud was setting us up. Okay. He said this is just gonna be one of those fights that never happened. Do you guys think they come back to the table? I've been on the record as saying that I don't think this fight's gonna happen at all. I was saying it back 2 or 3 months ago where Jason was still holding on to the last shred of hope. He was real. Well, actually, no. 3 months ago, Jason was real confident. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm like, I don't think this fight's gonna happen. Now, I think Jason has come on over to my side and said he doesn't think this fight's gonna happen. So I don't think it's gonna happen. Jay, I don't think you think it's gonna happen anymore. But I'm gonna let you say your piece on that, and then Showboat, I'm also gonna let you say your piece on that. But before I do that, I'll add to your comment. Terrence Crawford, all of a sudden, is just knocking the shit out of people coming up to 147. Now, maybe it was just power coming up, or maybe it was something else. He likes to throw out little things like that for us to think about. So I decided I'm going to go and throw something out there for other people to think about. He didn't have that kind of power at 140. Now he got that kind of power at 147. Why? Okay, go ahead, Jay.
First, I appreciate you, Brian S. Yeah, Greg, don't put me out there like that, man. Just because I wanted faith, I had hope in a great fight that we all deserve, a legacy fight, man. Don't do me like that, man. That's not cool. But now it's to the point, yeah, I mean, because Crawford's going to lose negotiation power. His power, little bit of power he had, it's going to diminish with this fight in December. And especially if Spence fights Boots, Stanionis, Thurman, and beats them, his negotiating power is going to go down less. So he's not going to get as much. And he's just going to continue to use that as a reason to walk away. So, yeah, I don't see this fight happening, unfortunately. It's ridiculous.
Go ahead, Showboat.
Oh, there he is. I think we may have lost him.
What?
All right.
You still there, Showboat?
I think about that fight that's going to happen. I'm definitely thinking it's going to happen next. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. For some reason, we lost you. For a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think the fight is going to definitely happen. And the reason why I say that, because this is the biggest payday, and all the network sanctioned bodies and everybody needs that payday. They all lined up to get it, but they're all mad about what Bud did. So they're ordering all these other fights just in case to not give these guys another place to run. But I definitely think it's going to happen. I think that the biggest change is going to be from Bud, because Bud knows he can't handle another David Avanesian. So I think Bud is going to do what it takes to make this fight happen if they get past both their guys. So I say it's a definite fight that's gonna happen by May.
I
next
hope
year.
you right. I hope you right, man. It's just, I don't want to hear Bud saying, "Well, I agree to everything," and we still don't get the fight.
Yeah, but ask yourself this. Let's say he doesn't make that fight. He can't take on another David Avenesian because he can't take on putting out more flames like this again. Where does Bud go from here? Because he can't go fight another PBC fighter.
No, I mean, he can't fight
Adrian Broner.
Nobody's gonna let that happen.
He can't fight another PBC fighter.
Adrian Broner.
Bud really doesn't care about the fans in this sense. He doesn't really care about that. He's gonna fight. I mean, if it's after May, I think that's when Ortiz becomes his mando. Is mandated for Ortiz. That'll be his next chance. If they don't fight.
But Ortiz might be like Cruz. I don't think Ortiz people want him to rush into Crawford. They know he can't beat Crawford.
But De La Hoya been trying to pitch that because that's what De La Hoya was. De La Hoya started talking bad about Al and everything. He was talking about, he said it'll be good for him to fight Ortiz. So I think that's
he's been saying that for the longest, just like he's been saying that Ryan Garcia should fight Tank Davis. He says this because it sounds good and it helps promote what he's doing. But at the end of the day, he doesn't make those fights. He's not gonna make that fight. Just like they're not gonna let him fight Boots.
Oh no.
Ortiz is not fighting Boots. Ortiz is not fighting Crawford. He's not gonna do it.
No, you gotta.
They'd rather see him fight Spence.
Yeah, I mean.
So I think, where does Crawford go? Ask yourself that. This is where I look at it. Where does Crawford go from this once this fight is over?
I don't think.
We know he's gonna win. Where does he go?
He ain't fighting.
Adrian Broner.
Broner wouldn't work because Broner ain't got nothing left in the tank.
And Broner's fighting at 140. Well, Broner's fighting at Broner's weight class at 142.
Doesn't matter. I'll be okay. Give him if it's the right dollar amount and it's guaranteed money, he'll fight anybody. That's the way I feel about Terrence Crawford.
You got a point there.
I can't blame you for that, man. Okay.
It's just what it is. I think at the end of the day, if all opportunities and avenues have been blocked for Terrence Crawford, I think he's going to fight Adrian Broner. I really do believe that. And then he's going to retire.
Come on, Brenda, he ain't going to murder no Charlo at 154. Come on now.
Hold up. Did Brenda say that?
Yes.
Listen, Bud has all the skills to outbox Charlo because, again, guys, I like Charlo. I think he doesn't necessarily employ the highest level of boxing IQ on certain occasions, but he definitely has all the skills that are needed. But the one thing that I've seen from Charlo is that 99.9% of the time he's going to land. And this ain't going to be like Gamboa when Gamboa landed or when Mean Machine landed. When Charlo land, his ass is going up out of there, period.
Yeah. They wild in their chat.
Charlo is too big too. Charlo is way too big.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That dude is big, bro. That ain't gonna be no easy fight.
Yeah. Nah. Charlo, and plus Charlo got a hell of a jab too. Hell of a jab.
Yeah.
Hey, Wanda, you wrong for that Clarissa Shields comment, man. You wrong for that. Hey, I would have paused real quick. We got 134 people in the chat. We got 69 likes. Guys, please like or dislike the chat, the comments, or whatever that we currently got going on here. It helps other people find the chat. It helps other people find the content that we're currently giving to you guys. So hit that like button for us, please.
Yeah,
and it's free.
Marissa still.
she wilding for that, bro.
She wilding today. She wilding today, man. That's just
Man, Danny Lothar said your word is your bond like G code, where is Bud's word now? Starts with and ends with a D. I'm not sure what word that is. Starts with a T and ends with a D. I don't know, but I will say, to your point, your word is your bond. And I don't think the words that Terrence Crawford have put out here lately have been, I don't feel like they've been coherent or consistent. And so, again, I will employ anybody that's on Twitter right now to go follow AM Sports Media. We put something on Twitter here recently. We just gotten it really to the Twitter game. And go retweet it, man. You got to apply pressure to Terrence Crawford because he looks at those YouTube videos. He looks at those tweets. Apply that pressure if you want to see this fight, man. Apply that pressure.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah, and I say apply it to both. Spence and I mean, because the thing is, people think we on here we just bud bashing, man. I'm gonna tell you what, like I said before, Spence is one of my favorite fighters, right? I got a lot of fighters I like, right? I like Bud.
Yeah.
Bud, like I said, Bud was my pound for pound #1 guy, right?
Same here.
But at the end of the day, we gotta hold everybody accountable, just like this Isaac Cruz and Shakur Stevenson. If you don't want to fight the best, man, get out the way. We don't want to hear you bitching about it again. Go back with the little leagues. You know what I'm saying? You had your chance up, so we don't want to hear you cry. So we put the pressure on everybody. Tank is next. Ryan is next. Everybody is next.
How many times have we talked about
good fights?
How many times, Jason, have we talked about Tank Davis and the fact that he hasn't made the biggest fights that he needs to make, and whether or not that relates to Mayweather promotion, understanding that there's something that's missing in Tank, that if you put him in those best fights, he's not going to win. And we like Tank, and we like Mayweather promotions.
We want to see the best fight the best. That's all we want to see.
Period. End of story.
Yeah.
About when you said about Isak Cruz and Stevenson, business wise, they're making a business decision on that. Why they're not gonna fight Stevenson? They're gonna wait around and try to fight the winner of Devin Haney and Loma. And they said they hope Loma wins because it's an easier fight. That's why they don't want to risk.
But they won't get that fight. But they can't get that fight
right now.
He doesn't qualify for that fight, But he doesn't qualify for that fight. Bob Arum's not gonna really let that fight happen. I mean, who would?
Yeah.
Think about it. Cruz got one fight after being knocked out with Tank. What makes him so marketable? A lot of people like that he beat knocked out Gamboa, but at the end of the day, it was Gamboa.
Was 45
you know what I'm saying?
old.
So what? Yeah. You beat up a gatekeeper, right? And you lost with a guy that had a broke hand for 6 rounds. So at the end of the day, you need one more coming home party fight. You got to have one more in there, right? So is he gonna fight Ryan? That's not gonna happen. Shakur, what's going to happen? You're not getting a Devin Haney fight. What put him in a position where he gets to fight for Undisputed?
Fighting Tank close.
Nothing.
And losing.
Yeah.
Fighting one-arm Tank. Yeah. That's what gets me with Isak Cruz, the whole thing with him. He fought a good fight with a man with one hand and lost. That don't get you. That don't get you a fight for Undisputed. I agree with you on that show, but the way they're trying to position him, they're trying to position him to be that person right there. And I'm like, nah, just fight Stevenson. Get it out the way.
Yeah, but from a business standpoint, does he bring enough crowd in for that? He doesn't. Not now. He's on the come up.
Yeah.
He needs a fight like Shakur Stevenson to go ahead and say, I've arrived. You have to have a high profile fight, a high profile name. And the one you had beat you with one hand, A lot of people saying that they would love to see the rematch, but the best way to get the rematch is beat Shakur. You're not getting Undisputed. Because if Devin or Loma fights him, gain anything from that? Nothing. But they said he might try to go get a vacant belt. He might try to fight for a vacant belt. That would be smart.
Yeah, especially Devin. Devin take care of Loma and he moves up, then that'd be the smartest move to get the belt. Then if he has a fight Stevenson later, Stevenson can go ahead and take care of him, and Isak could be back to the where he was at before he fought Tank.
Yeah, I just saw Raven Gamer just say Tank was lying about the hands for real, making excuses, and I'm a Tank fan. I like people like that, man, because we're the same way. We hold people accountable. There's people that we like. There's people. If the roles were reversed, and it was Spence and Crawford, those roles had reversed, we'd be on Errol Spence's ass. I'd be on Errol Spence's ass. I'd be putting my foot all in his ass. Because I don't like that. And there's certain aspects about Tank that I don't really like. Jason, there's certain aspects about Jermell that I don't like. There's certain aspects about Deontay Wilder that I don't like. And we've expressed that on the channel. I just don't think the channel is growing now and people are just now getting the opportunity to hear us. But they're going to start hearing some of these other opinions and understand, these guys are really fair and balanced because I like Wilder. I like Tank. I like Errol. But if they doing something that don't make sense, I'm gonna call them out.
Get it?
I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
They gonna
see on my channel. The way I look at it is, I don't really care about somebody else's feelings because who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I try to be fair. But I'm one of those people that this is the way I do it. If it's a fact, it's a fact. If it's my opinion, I say it's my opinion. My opinion can change, but facts don't change, right?
Bingo.
And I'm a big enough man to say I stand on my square, but if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. It doesn't bother me to be wrong, man. If you prove me wrong, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I'm gonna laugh it off, cry it off, and keep on rolling. And I think a lot of fans don't do that. A lot of fans in here, they're in their feelings, and they have a fighter, be it bad or good, and that's what they see. So when they do dumb shit, they ride out with them. And I'm like, well, you can, but I'm gonna call you out on it. Same way I want y'all to call me out on mine.
Brendan McDonald says, what are you guys going to talk about when Crawford kills Spence? That Crawford kills Spence?
Point blank, period. It's not about exactly hurt my feelings.
That Crawford kills Spence?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about, how damn good Crawford was because he killed Spence.
It ain't going to hurt my feelings. Relate to Spence.
Hey, say it again. He kicked Spence. Yeah, that's exactly what I say. Hey,
got his ass beat up. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, like I think
and
people
to go back to being my number one pound for pound.
Again, guys, everything that I say is based off of analytics and logic. Just to give you an example, Tank and Ryan Garcia. I'm a Tank fan. After seeing Tank versus Rolly, I said, that fight against Ryan Garcia is way closer than what I thought originally. With new information, my opinion changes. My analytics change. But everything is based on the analytics, understanding what I'm seeing in front of me. I don't really put all that emotion into it like other fans. So if Terrence Crawford comes in and beats the shit out of Errol Spence because he was countering to death, I'm be like, God damn, I didn't realize he was going to counter Errol Spence like that. Let's talk about Terrence Crawford and how great he is.
Exactly.
And guys, we got 149 people.
Number one pound for pound.
I'm sorry, we got 146 people in the chat. We only got 90 likes. Please hit that like button if you can. It's free. Please hit that like button if you can. It is free. Go ahead, Showboat. I'm sorry.
No, I said Terrence Crawford was my number one pound for pound. I argued that. Spence was my number one welterweight. Number 2 pound for pound. But I said those two guys need to fight so I can see who's really number one. I gave it to Terrence Crawford because he's been undisputed before. And to be pushed off of that pedestal, Spence needs to take him down off of it. But with Crawford doing this, you're not moving like a pound for pound champion in my head. You know what I mean? So I had to remove him because if you're saying you're the boss and they're paying you this amount of money, you had say-so on who you fought. You could have said, nah, man, you got to go to Boots, who is with Showtime. He's not with PBC. You could have went Ortiz and settled that mandatory.
Can I bring up a topic real quick, guys? And this is I'm only bringing it up because it's been in the chat for a while now. And it's the resume of Terrence Crawford. And I'm just going to give a little bit of a backstory on this. So as Terrence Crawford was matriculating through 135, 140, moved up to 147, and I was looking at him, I was never like overly impressed. I think he's a really good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I looked at who he was fighting and I thought, man, that's really not a good fighter. And when he beat Gamboa, and Jason knows this for a fact because we've interacted a lot. When I wait to see fighters at the weigh-in to make a final prediction. Like I always break it down on film to see who has strengths and who has weaknesses and how those strengths and weaknesses match up. But I always wait to see when they get to the weigh-in because size matters. And when I saw him standing next to Gamboa, I'm like, Gamboa, he doesn't have a fucking chance. The same thing with Rigo and Loma. He doesn't have a chance. So he got hurt by a small Gamboa. He got Victor Postal, who was on his resume, who really hadn't beat anybody. So he's gotten a lot of acclaim. And don't get me wrong, he passes my eye test, but he's got a lot of acclaim for it. Not that stellar of competition. So I want to ask the question. Is he overrated based off of his competition? I'm going to pass it to you, Showboat. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think Crawford's overrated. I don't.
Okay.
I think Crawford steps up to and handles business like he's supposed to. I think that those mandatories and stuff that he fought were some of his mandatories, and I understand that's the way Bob was moving him at the time. But at the end of the day, Crawford does pass the eye test. He stops people. He does what he's supposed to do in a timely manner. But I can't say he's overrated, but he does have a questionable resume. I do. That's my thoughts on that one.
What's your thoughts on it, Jay?
On what was that again? I was reading. Sorry, my bad. I was reading.
No problem. Crawford's resume.
At what weight class? At 147? Nah.
Just overall,
It
just
ain't-
overall.
Overall, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, but when you look at who he fought, who's who and whatnot, he fought who was supposed to fight at 140 to get the belts. That's all he could do. At 147, I'm not really impressed with it at 147, especially now he's fighting David Amnesia, who lost the Mean Machine, who Crawford beat, and Mean Machine hurt Crawford and potentially, arguably dropped Crawford in that fight as well. So I mean, as far as like you said, the eye test, Crawford passes that test automatically. What he's accomplished, he's up there just based on his accomplishments. He's up there because of that. Now as far as who he fought, that's a whole other story. Because that could be questionable.
So I heard somebody in the chat, or I saw somebody in the chat say that Terrence Crawford is a Hall of Famer, and he probably is just based off accomplishments. But I don't think the accomplishments were against stellar opposition, similar to Canelo. Canelo has done a whole lot of shit here over the last few years. I can't even fucking name most of the fighters he fought over the last few years because they all been tomato cans. We knew he was going to beat them. Terrence Crawford's resume, I'm torn on it. When I see Terrence Crawford, he passes the eye test for me, but it's hard for me to really say whether or not he's truly at that level, bro, because of who he's faced. So if I had to give a pound for pound to somebody, I'm going to give it to Crawford because just the skill level that I've seen over the past few years. But man, it's hard to really say whether or not he's truly operating at a level similar to Floyd Mayweather because the comp ain't really been that good. So he will stay as my number one pound for pound. But I totally understand anybody's argument where they say Terrence Crawford is not all that great because the competition that he's fought is trash. I understand that argument. I really do. So guys, we've been going for a little bit, man. I'm gonna leave it to the people in the chat, man. What direction do you want to go in? Or Jason, do we want to talk about the WBC and the fights that they've recently mandated?
I would say we can do it both. I mean, I like some of the fights the WBC has mandated. Yeah, I know Showboat, and you talked about this on, I think you're live on Thursday? Was it? On that.
Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday.
So I mean, that list of fights, it's going to be a great 2023, but I don't think a lot of them are going to happen per se. Especially we already know the Isak Cruz Stevenson, that's not going to happen. Isak Cruz party, they don't want no business with Stevenson. The Andy Ruiz Wilder fight is an interesting one to me. Just because Andy has those quick hands and he's a good boxer. And it'd be interesting to see if Wilder's, shows anything. We didn't really see much of Wilder's last fight because he got him up out of it in the first round. But I mean, we know one thing: Wilder's always going to carry that stick with that right hand, and Wilder's tough as shit. He ain't gonna just go lay down for nobody. So I mean, I think that'll be an interesting fight. What were some of the other fights they had on there?
Spence versus
Fundora
Thurman
versus
Shakur versus Cruz, and Fundora versus
Harrison.
Tony Harrison. That's the one I want to see. That's the best one in the whole lineup to me.
Yeah, I like that fight.
It has the potential. It just depends on what Harrison we get. We get the Harrison that fought Mel. Yeah, that's gonna be some shit for Fundora because Fundora is he has a lot of weaknesses out there. Because he likes to fight inside. If Harrison just chooses to box him and Fundora don't use his range and his size, it's over for him. Because Harrison he has a high ass boxing IQ.
And Tony Harrison's got to win this fight because it's going to turn him into a gatekeeper.
Compared to some of the others?
Is his IQ really that high or is Mel's IQ really that low? And
it's a fair question, but you stay on Mel head on about the boxing IQ. So
I don't think his boxing IQ is high. I think he got all the skills and the tangible tools. I don't think he has the boxing IQ. I don't.
So let me see what else.
See what's going on here in the chat. Hey guys, we
got
153.
If I do a shout out real quick.
Go ahead.
Now I want to do a shout out, John Boo, man. Appreciate you, fam. He hit me up in my cash out, man. I appreciate that, man. Representing for his boy, man. Appreciate that.
John Boo, and thank you as well, because you've contributed to our chat as well. And also, thank everybody that's contributed to the chat, not only from a monetary perspective, but also from your comments. Like, man, we really, 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 really appreciate it. Right now, we got 150 people in the chats. We got 101 likes. If you could, people, please hit the like button so more people can find our content. That would be helpful. Wanda, I'm with you on that point, Greg, but you just stirred the pot, right? Wanda, that's all I do is stir the pot. That's all I do is stir the pot. So I'm not sure exactly what comment we're talking about, but I stir the pot a lot. We might be talking about the Charlo comment.
Hey, Rayon, Tank's not fighting Abner. You already took that, and Abner also said that he's not fighting Tank.
Yeah, I put that in the chat as well. He's already dismissed those rumors that he's gonna fight Tank. Yeah. He's not gonna fight Tank. T Ward, so me and T Ward, man, we aligned on a whole lot of stuff. But that last comment from T Ward, we are not aligned on that. I do not believe he has a high boxing IQ at all. I think I'm aligned to the high ego, but I am not aligned to a high boxing IQ. Jason, we were watching the second Harrison fight, and I was texting you and like, all the fuck he has to do is 1, 2, 3. If he do this, he'll knock his ass out. And when he did 1, 2, 3, what happened, Jason?
Yeah,
got him.
Knocked him out.
Got him.
Yeah, but it's hard when you're in that ring and that little dude, no matter what you keep throwing at this dude, it's like he just don't stop coming, man.
Yeah.
And then you want to just, out of all that shit you talk, you got to think, emotional fighters got this thing that they trying to prove. He was getting beside himself on boxing, and they all do it. Like, you remember when Floyd fought Shane Mosley, and he was in there trying to slug it out with Shane, and Shane almost dropped him? What happened when he went back to the corner? His corner said, Floyd, you're making the fight harder than what it is. Go in there and box this dude and shut him out. Floyd went in there and boxed him, and it just turned the whole fight. Yeah. Floyd got in his feelings. And that's what happens.
So I disagree with that.
Wanted to knock him out.
I disagree with the Floyd fight.
Without putting in the work to knock him out.
I think Floyd no, I agree with what you're saying there, but I disagree with the Floyd fight. I think Floyd went back out there and did the exact same shit he was doing right from the beginning. I just think this time he made sure he didn't get caught. He stood right in front of Shane Mosley in round 1 and 2, and he stood right in front of him the rest of the fight and beat the dog shit out of him.
Well, what he did was he changed his style up. He went back to more boxing and slugging because he did that shoulder roll a little bit more, and he stayed on the inside and he smothered Shane's punches a little bit and just counted.
No, okay, I agree. I agree with that.
He hit Shane hard enough to next time you see that fight, you'll see Shane doing this the whole time. He started doing his hands like that, trying to time, and was doing that the whole fight. When he started doing that, he was second guessing what he was doing because he didn't have an answer for Floyd.
Oh yeah, no,
Floyd had already turned the tables and was in his head, and that was all boxing.
Yeah, no. I see what you're saying.
Boxer took over.
When you said boxing, I thought you meant like movement and stuff like that. I thought Floyd stood right in front of him. And what was so funny is Shane almost caught him with that exact same punch in the first round. I'm like, shit, if Floyd don't be careful, he gonna get caught with that fucking right hand. And he caught his ass in the second round. And man, Floyd started, after that second round, that really showed Floyd's greatness. I'll never forget this. When they showed the replay and Floyd got clipped with the second punch, and when he came up, you saw nothing but calm over his entire, he was just calm. Floyd was born to box, and he understands every aspect of the game. So it does not matter what happens in the ring. Even when he's rocked, he is in a very calm state. I knew right then, I was sitting in my homeboy's barbershop watching the fight. I was like, oh, Floyd about to beat the shit out of this dude. He's just too calm. He's just too calm. And so, man, I really miss that dude's greatness, man. I really miss Floyd Mayweather's greatness. What else we got going on in the chat, Jim?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
One thing, let me pause right here, man, while you guys look at the chat. But Showboating, I wanna thank you for coming on the show. So I think it was 2 or 3 shows ago, people in this very chat was telling us, man, y'all need to reach out to Showboating, man. Y'all need to reach out to Showboating because they know that we're open to collaborating with other YouTubers. And as soon as we got off the line, I went to your channel and I watched one of your shows. I probably watched 30, 40 minutes of your show. And I said, yeah, I see why they're saying we need to link up with this guy. And directly after that, I shot you a note in your comment section because I didn't know how to get in contact with you in any other way. And we linked up through Twitter. And you've been open and gracious about joining the show, man. So I just want to pause and just give you your flowers because I don't think people give each other flowers enough. We don't hate on any other YouTube channel, and I don't think you do as well. This is a community, and we should all be helping each other and interacting with each other because it helps elevate the sport.
Right. Man, I appreciate you guys reaching out and coming on the show and stuff, man. I do. And I was honored to come on, you know, because it's like I just get tired of watching a lot of channels that's got a bunch of clowns, you know. I get tired of seeing that. I get tired of the groupie stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to find some people that was on the same page, you know.
Yeah, Showboat, let her.
Appreciate everybody in the comment section that suggested my channel. I appreciate
those
that
too don't
as
know,
well.
Showboat, let them know what times you be on live during the week.
But I do live every weeknight at 10 p.m. and that's Eastern time. So we go in there and we mix it up. We talk every night around 10.
Showboat, I got to be on your show one day, man. You got it. I got to be on there, man. You got to bring me on, man. I got to hit your show one day, man.
Definitely. You definitely can come on, man. Definitely. You guys keep it real. I like it.
Yeah, what we got going on in the comment section, though, fellas?
Someone that mentioned something about the Tank and Ryan fight.
So what about it? Jay thinks Tank is gonna blow him out. I believe that's a close fight, but you guys tell us what you think in the comment section, man.
Let me correct what you said about blowing him out. Now.
No. That's what you said. Now I'm holding Jason accountable. That's what you said, bro. That's what you said.
Nah, I said it'll probably go 6 to 8.
That's blowing him out.
Nah, blowing him out is like 1 through 4.
Man, semantics.
Because he's gonna be tactical. Tank's gonna be tactical like he was with Rolly. Like he made that fight with Rolly longer than what it was because he was just taking his time and letting Rolly blow his load. That's what he did with Rolly. Now,
no, that's not what he did. Yeah. That's not what he did.
Yes, he did. Rolly
no, that's not what he did. So I disagree.
So you try to tell me Rolly dictated and pushed Tank around and just that whole fight.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Greg,
yes. I think no.
Took his time.
Oh fuck! Did he take his time? Yes, he did take his time. Yes. He took his time because that dude had power and he was long. If that nigga connected to his chin, see, you just made me say the N word online. See, this is why I don't like fooling with you, Jason. This is why I don't like fooling with you. If he had connected to Tank's jaw, he was gonna get Tank up out of there. So Tank fought a smart fight. Don't get me wrong, but Rolly dictated that fight being rangy and having power.
He's naturally bigger and longer than Tank, so Tank was just taking his time. Tank wasn't gonna be stupid and just go out there and shoot and get caught with something stupid.
Sure.
Now the Barrios fight was more of a chess match. That was harder for Tank, I think, than Rolly.
Yeah. I think with the Rolly fight, what I looked at Tank said that he thought Rolly's game plan was gonna come out and try to knock Tank out because Rolly kept saying that in all the press conferences. I'm gonna knock him out first, second round. So Tank didn't want to rush in there. You can get knocked out by trying to knock somebody else out, right? But I think what he knew was he was a superior boxer, and he just wait till Rolly makes a mistake. So he just let Rolly keep coming in. And Rolly, eventually, you start seeing his amateur ways come out a little bit, and that's what happened.
Ego.
And he walked right into that punch. It was a beautiful punch. Tank caught him, and like Tank said, I didn't put a lot of power in that punch. I didn't think that was going to be the one to hit him. I was really getting out of there, but it was the right punch.
Let me tell you something.
That's what happens. You can't just keep rushing in with your head open.
I don't care what nobody say. Tank was I won't say in trouble, but Tank was being pressed in that fight. That's the reason why he was out talking to the crowd. He even said that, man, that helps him relax because he was feeling that nervousness. He was feeling that pressure because that kid was long and had power. So Ryan is, hold on, let me finish. Ryan's long. Ryan has power. I'm not saying that Ryan's going to win. I think Tank's going to win, but this fight is way closer than what we said before. I think Ryan is eventually knocked out, but I think it's probably going to be somewhere between rounds 9 and 10 where he gets, 8 through 10 where he gets clipped and up out of there. But I saw a nervousness from Tank that I didn't see in other fights. He wasn't doing all that shit, man. He's talking to people outside the ring and all that shit. I mean, you got to read those body clues, man, the things that people are doing that's not necessarily what they would normally do. I just felt like Tank was in a little bit more trouble than what we're trying to pretend that he was in. That's my thought.
Against Rolly, Tank was more trying to keep his emotions down because he wanted to hurt Rolly. He really hated Rolly. You know, you saw the way that initial with that first press conference where when he was heated, when he pushed. Now that was the second one. The first one he was really heated, more animated and everything, and the second one he was more relaxed. He was trying to control his emotions so he don't get caught with nothing stupid. That's why, because Rolly can crack. He knows Rolly can crack. He knows if he goes out there emotional, he's gonna get himself dropped. Against Barrios, he fought calculating. Barrios is a bigger, longer range of fighter than Rolly. Maybe
man.
not
Oh my God! Stop with the Barrios shit, man. Barrios is not the same fighter. Oh man, fuck that size shit. He had a power though.
No, he didn't. But he made Tank do stuff that Tank didn't normally do. Did he not?
See, you guys are not starting to see the other part of this. You guys probably thought that me and Jason always agree. We ain't agreeing in this motherfucker right now. I don't agree with shit he's saying right now. Not a goddamn thing.
You like Rolly too much. You like Rolly.
I don't like. Hey man, don't do that. Hey man, don't do that shit. You know fucking well I don't like no goddamn Rolly. What I'm saying is that I thought
he had Rolly in his top 10, man. He's that Rolly was the next.
Hey. You lucky. So Jason and I got this saying that we always say, "You ain't shit." I send him a text every morning saying he ain't shit, and he sent me one right back saying you ain't shit. So right now, in front of everybody, I'm letting them know you ain't shit. You know goddamn well I don't say no shit like that. You don't feel like you ain't shit. Anyway,
now I agree with some people in the chat. Cruz was one of Tank's hardest fights, just because Cruz was just a hard nose, coming straight forward type fighter. You know, throwing punches at odd angles, kind of like a Maidana type punches that he was throwing. So he had to be smart on that. And I think Tank really did hurt his hand because he stopped throwing that hand after like round 5 or 6. He really didn't throw that hand at all, and that hand was swollen as hell after the fight as well. Yeah. So he may have overplayed it, you know, but he didn't throw that hand that much after that round. So he had to rely on his one hand. Yeah,
he didn't throw it at all, really. He never really even threw it. So I agree with him on that. I give him benefit of doubt because I don't think you'd be fighting a whole fight just using one hand if you just that up. You know?
Yeah, and I mean Rolly is funny.
Now if he did it like the 12th round, yeah, but I think Tank had a healthy respect for Rolly because he know Rolly has a little bit of power. But plus, you don't want to go in there mixing stuff up with Rolly and Rolly manhandling you because he's a bigger guy and he's all over you and wear you down either. So to be honest, Tank played that right like he's supposed to. You don't go in there and slug with Rolly. You let Rolly come to you and you pick your shots and you eventually catch him.
Oh, I don't disagree.
I don't look at the Ryan Garcia fight. I don't look at the Ryan Garcia fight as the Rolly fight is an indicator of how the Ryan Garcia fight gonna go. Because I like Ryan. I think Ryan has some skills. He makes some rookie mistake. He keeps his chin in the air and he backs straight up, right?
Yeah,
but I
agree
think
with that.
with Tank and other fighters, they're gonna have a problem with Ryan. Ryan has some serious speed and the boy can crack.
Yes.
So
yes, that's what I'm saying.
When you put that out there, you're gonna have to you gotta go get Ryan. You're not listen, this is what has to happen. Tank has to hurt Ryan in the beginning to keep Ryan before Ryan starts gaining more confidence. Because Ryan, like I said, he can box, he can crack. It's going to be a really good fight. So Tank's got to go after him. He can't play around with him because Ryan can catch you with a shot that you didn't see coming and lay your ass out.
Quick hands too. I think Tank's going to have to press Ryan. I think even if he does sit back and try to lull him to sleep, I think if Ryan gets confidence, Ryan's going to get his ass knocked out earlier than between 6 and 8.
Oh, yes. But you know something that people don't understand about Tank? Tank has some really good boxing skills, man. And he spars a lot bigger fighters.
He does. I don't take anything.
Can box.
I don't take anything away from Tank. Tank fought the right fight against Rolly Romero. He has power. He's rangy. He fought the right fight because if you go in there and you get reckless, you can get clipped with something and get put up out of there. The point that I'm making that I feel like is being dismissed is that you know, being that rangy and having that power gave Tank problems. He wasn't the same Tank that just can come in there and blow a fighter out. So Ryan has those same attributes, but he's a better boxer, he's better skilled, and he's faster. So why wouldn't I expect that to be a close fight between him and Tank?
But wouldn't you guys agree that most of the fights that Tank has had here lately, he has been taking his time and letting the fight roll out? When he fought Gamboa, he didn't knock Gamboa out to the last few rounds. I was actually at that fight. He fought Mario Barrios. He was behind on the scorecards till Tank told him. He turned it on, got him right out of there, which a top level fighter is supposed to do. He knocked him out even when Keith Thurman couldn't knock him out. When he fought Santa Cruz was doing well. Yeah, it was Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Santa Cruz is boxing real well.
Yeah. When he's fighting Santa Cruz was doing well towards the end till he caught him. So Tank lets you get off. He lets a fighter get off before he puts you to sleep. You know what I mean? Which he should turn it on a little bit before then, but I think he does that with most fighters. So I don't think with Rolly, I looked at it like, that's just what he does.
Yeah.
I didn't see it like that.
Now Tank versus Ryan, I agree with someone in the chat. Like, I don't think it can go to the decision. I just don't trust the judge.
He better not.
He can't let it go to the decision. I think they might try to get Tank on that. I don't see it going to the decision though. I see between 6 and 8 Tank's gonna get Ryan up out of there.
Man, we'll see we'll see what happens.
He's gonna have to.
I see,
because you can't play with Ryan. You can't play with Ryan because you got to think like this. The judges. I'm not gonna put this off there and say that's why Ryan won, but you got to be careful because judges will, in a fight like that, pull for the person they think is more marketable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that, and I can agree with that. Yeah, my thoughts are is just I just think I still got Tank. I think Tank's gonna win that fight. I think that fight's gonna be way more challenging than what I initially thought it was gonna be. I thought Tank was gonna come in there and smoke that dude because I didn't think he had what it took to really stand up to Tank. But now that I see how rangy he is and the speed and I saw what ended up occurring against Rolly Romero, I just see the fight differently. That's to me a 55-45 fight, where before I had it like a 70-30 fight. So that's all I'm saying. I still got Tank. I just don't see it the same way. So what we got?
I like, man, listen, and I hate to say it like that because when you say you like a fighter, people think that you're saying, well, I like this fighter better than I like the other fighter. I like Tank. I like Ryan. You know, and people say, well, I know you pull. You know, people, I know you pull for Ryan, or I know you pull for Tank. I'm like, man, I don't care who wins the fight. To be honest, I just want to see them fight.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't really care.
For Wilder, I didn't think Ryan was ready, but I'm like, man, it's time to be ready. It's time for everybody to be ready.
Yeah.
It's time to stop coddling these boxers and push them on out there, and they got to go to war, man.
So Tank Davis is how old? 27 years old, and who's the best fighter that's on his resume currently? Yeah. Again, this is a Tank. I'm a Tank fan. I love Tank game, and he with Mayweather, so I want him to be good. But who's the best fighter that Tank has fought so far at 27 years old? All that shit about we're moving his career in the right direction. No, fuck all that. He needs to fight.
Is that probably the best? Is that
more than likely?
Is that the best one, Leo Santa Cruz?
Leo came up with 2 weight classes.
And he came up with 2 weight classes.
Because Gamboa, I don't count Gamboa.
Gamboa was 95 years old on a one leg.
Yeah, Gamboa is not that
at
good.
that point in time.
Yeah. Mario Barrios is not. I think Mario Barrios was probably a little too depleted fighting him. He looked a lot better at 147, a little bit stronger at 147 than 140. Listen, you got to take your hat off to Floyd Mayweather and them. They picked Mario Barrios. That was a good pick for Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, they moving him right.
Tank looked good. They moved him right on that one, bro. They moved him right on that one.
Yo, they've been moving his whole career correctly. Don't get me wrong. Mayweather Promotion has done a phenomenal job. And Leonard Ellaby comes on there and say that they know the sport and they know this and they know that. And when they first started saying that, I was like, y'all don't know shit. Floyd just knows how to market himself. And I still, to a certain degree, think Floyd is really good at marketing himself, not necessarily everybody else. But they're right, man. He actually is really good at marketing. And I want to give Leonard Ellaby the props for this, man, because he seems to be the one that's connecting with the boxers. And they are doing a great job with Tank's career. And I think more fighters need to go over to Mayweather Promotions because it seems like they understand the business and how to move fighters. But on the flip side of that, they've moved Tank in this direction for too fucking long. He needs to fight somebody else now with a pulse. Somebody that's going to be his size, that's going to be a really good fighter.
It's time, man. I can't take up for Tank no more.
Exactly. There's too many fighters in and around his weight class that would give him a real challenge that he has not fought yet. Enough is enough.
Yeah, I agree. That the bubblegum belt he got right now is just not cutting it when you got Devin Haney out there. You know, with the Undisputed after seeing what Devin did to go Australia not once but twice, and now fighting Loma. You know, Devin set the bar up here for daring to be great. So I'm waiting for the next person to do it. And Tank has the ability to do it. He just needs to just get out there and do it. You know.
Yeah. So guys, for the last 15
And
to 20
Floyd
minutes,
knows better than that because Floyd fought different.
yeah, exactly. For the last 15 to 20 minutes, man, let's see what's going on in the chat. One person just posted, Brian S. Shakur versus everybody. I got Shakur as the best fighter in and around that weight class. And I don't even like Shakur Stevenson. Not a fan. I think he's the best fighter in and around that weight class. Period.
At 135, you got him as the best?
Yep. I think he beats everybody at that weight class, including Tank. Now that's my opinion. I could be Showboat. I might be 100% wrong.
I don't know that he beats Devin. I don't know that he beats Devin right now at this point with his first fight coming up. I'm not sure. It'd be a hell of a firefight. I would like to see that. Not sure, man. I'm on the fence with that, with Devin and Tank.
I got you. When I say in and around that weight class, I mean if all things equal, right? He probably needs to be in the weight class for a few fights. But I just think he's the most skilled fighter in and around that weight class. And I think he has the skills to nullify Tank's power. But we won't know until all these guys get in the ring, man. That's what makes this shit so intriguing. Lomo, Tio, Haney, Shakur. These fights, man, these dudes need to get in the ring. I'm saying I think Shakur is the best, but I don't really know. They need to fight. Even when you break down film and you look at strengths versus weaknesses and who can capitalize on what, sometimes, man, you dead ass wrong, even when you've seen the film.
Yeah, I mean, I think for them to fight, I think it'll have to be at 140. I agree. 135 is not going to be the best Devin right now because Devin's struggling to make that 135. I think after Loma, he's going to move up, and I think they meet at 140. At 140, it's like a 50-50 fight to me.
I think what you said is Devin's not going to be able to hold on too much longer, but I think Devin can take 2 more fights, no problem. I think if he fights Loma and he fights Shakur that very next fight, that's the one you need to see. I think Shakur needs a fight, and then Devin fights Loma, and then they fight right after that. And then I would say that's you getting the best of both at that point. Because Shakur's ready. Because he spars people like Ugas and everybody else. He's ready. He's ready. If anything, 135 is going to make him stronger. He might even hit even harder. You know what I mean? The skills are there. He is the most polished fighter there is around that 135 weight class.
The scary thing is with Devin and Shakur, they don't have that type of power like Tank has. So that's a scary thing, you know, because Tank got that dynamic power and he has a high boxing IQ now, the way he's been showing in his last few fights. So the combination of the power and the IQ, that makes it tough on Devin and Shakur, although they're definitely great skill fighters and boxers with what they do. They got the range and everything and great defense. But, man, that devastating power by Tank with the high IQ, it's going to be hell. It'll be great matches, though.
Yeah, I see T. Ward
I agree,
says.
but Devin.
No, go ahead.
Devin and Tank ain't going to fight. Devin and Tank ain't going to fight. Floyd's not going to let that happen. Because I think Floyd looks, you know, he's helped nurture Devin up to that point. And he's teaching both of those guys, right? And I don't think he really wants those 2 guys to fight anytime soon, you know?
Yeah, T said when film doesn't translate, it's usually any given Sunday, but most of the time film tells the future. For the most part, I agree with that, man. It's just been times where I've seen a weakness in a fighter that I didn't think was something that was major, that another fighter could capitalize on, and it became a major issue depending on the fighter. So that's the reason why I'm just like sometimes I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, yeah, this is a big deal and this isn't a big deal. And then when you get in the ring, it's like, oh, actually what I didn't think was a big deal is actually a really big deal because this fighter really doesn't respond very well when pressed on this weakness. So
yeah, the thing with Shakur, I didn't like the way Shakur looked decent, but he seemed like he was getting hit by one shot too often for me. I think it was a straight right. He was getting caught within his last fight too often. And maybe it's because he didn't respect that dude's power, you know, but he got caught with the straight right too often for my liking for him because I've never seen him get caught like that. I think he got hit the most in his career last fight, didn't he? His last fight?
I don't know, but that's probably one of the better opponents in his career as well. But I think I get your point, Jason. I don't disagree with that. I think he stayed in the pocket a lot, and I think he fought a specific fight based off of the strategy that they have.
Maybe that was more so the reason.
I don't know. We'll see if that's the case when he get in with some of those 135 pounders, and we see him in there with better competition.
Yeah, I mean 135, 140. It's a fire division right now. We got some heat there. I'm just hoping we continue to see the best fight the best at those divisions there.
Ashton H asked, "Did y'all see the sparring between Devin and Shakur? If you did, who improved since then?" Devin has definitely improved since then. I think both have actually improved since then. That was years ago. They both have improved a lot in terms of their skill set and their abilities.
Yeah.
So I think both have improved. Go ahead, Showboat.
Devin was a lot younger too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devin was a lot younger, so he mentally needed to mature a little bit more. And I think right now you're starting to see a more mature person that's becoming more of a man than a little kid.
Yeah, looks like some people in the tank and in the chat ask about the Frank Martin and Mitchell Rivera. That's gonna be a good ass fight. That's gonna be a good ass fight.
Yes.
Man, I don't even know how I lean on that one. Cause man, I have to get back on you now.
All I can say is off that one right now at this point in time, some of them fights, I can't wait till it happens. Yeah. That's one of those you really can't tell. You got it because you haven't really got to see what those two guys are really made of. So they need each other to show they're the next, their step up. They're helping each other step up. So
and number of respect to both of them for taking the fight against each other since it's such a dangerous fight at an early stage in their careers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight as well. Can't wait to see that.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. Jay said he got Frank Martin because of Derrick James. Yeah, Derrick James be putting the official game plan in there for fighters. They'll be great off of. As long as they listen to it, unlike Charlo at times.
And Frank Martin knows how to follow instructions. I agree with you. That's what I was gonna say. Follow that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see that the fight last night.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to go ahead.
The Montana Love fight. Did you see that, Showboat?
I didn't get to catch it last night. I had at my venue. I got a place that I rent out for special events and stuff, and they rented out for like a veterans party. So I was there last night to about 1 o'clock in the morning. So by the time I got out of there and got back to the house, it was over. And that reminds me, I got to be at some place quick, guys. I'm cut out because they closed in a little bit, so I'm going to have to rush on out. I was trying to wait to the very end. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
We appreciate you.
We're about to wrap it up too, man. We appreciate you coming on. Guys, don't forget to go subscribe to Showboating Sports. Good content, actually no, great content, and a good person that really stands on what it is that he says. So please go subscribe to Showboating Sports.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys, man. Hey, and everybody out there, I had a good time, man. And this ain't all for all of us. We'll link up again, man. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. All right, have a good one, man.
All right, appreciate y'all. All right, man.
Yeah, Tank did tweet about Love basically quitting. Say he's a bitch. Took a bitch way out. Cause he basically, I saw the highlight of him basically throwing dude over the top rope, like his damn wrestling. I guess because he was getting his ass beat.
Yeah. Lay off, but so let's see what else we got in the comment section, man.
Yeah, Brenda, you're right. Trainers do matter, and Bud got Bomac.
That's fucked up. Man, how long we been going, man? We've been going for an hour, 43
almost
minutes.
2 hours.
Man.
Yeah.
So, man, I want to, you guys, we're going to keep looking at the chat section here, see if there's anything that pops in. But we're going to get ready to go ahead and wrap it up as well. I want to thank everybody that has come in here. Man, we got some regular people that I want to go ahead and shout out, man, because you are the guys that really drive our channel. So Brian S., Anthony Jones, C. Dewberry, Wanda, Bodden, Blessed Two Fish, T Ward, of course, Jay,
Brenda.
Showboating Sports, Brenda for sure.
Rayon.
Let's see. Devin Trotty, I see you all the time in the comment section. Miss T, I see you in the comment section all the time. GA Peach, Ashton H, Tunnel Vision, and everybody that donated to the channel tonight. We really appreciate that. It always tells us that we're doing the right thing, and people appreciate the content that we're putting out. So that's Adrian. Who else? I can't see who all gave us money because it was so far back. I'm sorry, I can't see everybody who I know. John Boo did.
John Blue.
I want to say Tunnel Vision did as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember everybody, guys. I'm sorry about that, but I do appreciate everybody that's contributed to the channel. Much appreciated. We will have content this week, of course, as we always do. We plan to be here every Sunday at 4 p.m. Next week I am traveling. I will let you guys know whether or not we'll have a show sometime midweek. I got to go down to Florida to help my mother with something, so I might be preoccupied with that. But yeah, just let anybody that's currently in the chat, please let us know. Go to the community section. Please let us know if you want to be a moderator. I'm not saying that everybody's going to be a moderator, but there's certain people that we know are always in our chats and in our comment section that we feel like we can trust to come in and moderate the channel. So if you are interested in being a moderator, please reach out and let us know. Anything else you want to add, Jay, or is there anything else you want to comment on?
Nah, I mean, the chat, y'all have been great. I mean, y'all been thriving. Y'all got us going. Y'all give us great things to talk about and expand on as well. So, I mean, keep it coming, and we're going to keep bringing you that good content.
Yep. The other thing I want to ask is Brenda mentioned the call in. Guys, I might put a poll out there in terms of, adding a call in number for people to call in, and we have discussions on fights and stuff like that and what's the latest going on in boxing. Let us know if that's a good idea. I'm going to put the poll out here right after we get off the live stream, and just let us know if you guys think that that's the right way to go. Thank you, Blessed Two Fish. Appreciate that. Huh?
The Keggy said, Oprah moment, you have a wrench and you have a wrench.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get up here and have some dinner with the fam. This is the Angry Man Podcast. If you haven't had the opportunity, please go like, comment, and subscribe. We got a whole lot of content out there that I think you guys will enjoy. We got the history of, we got the film study, we got the history of Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, we got Ripoff Report, we got background on BLK. There's a lot of content out there that we have that I think people have probably not had the opportunity to see and enjoy. So go check that content out. And guys, until next time, peace. We appreciate it.